Hey there, thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about adoption. If you are an adoptive parent or thinking about adopting a baby, you're in the right spot, but I'm not going to be talking about that process in this presentation. So if that's what you'd like to hear about after this one, I have a great video on my website that walks you through that. In the meantime, as adoptive parents and hopeful adoptive parents, we have a responsibility of knowing how to talk about adoption respectfully and then educating others. So this is going to sound a little weird, but I want you to pinch yourself right now. I'm serious. So, did you feel that? I'm guessing you did, which tells me you must be a real human being. Would you agree that both of us in this picture appear to also be real? Me too. This is me and my son's birth mom, or biological mom, or first mom, or tummy mommy. However you refer to your child's birth mom is a personal choice, perhaps a choice you make with her. The point is, we are both my son's real mom. The words we use to talk about adoption matters, especially from the point of view of a child who has been adopted. So mind your P's and Q's. It sets the tone for how our kids feel about themselves. The way we speak about adoption will display either respect or disrespect for everyone involved in the adoption process and how others perceive adoption. In these pictures, you see some jokes made about being adopted. A simple phrase like this could cause a child to question their value in their family and in the world, frankly. One innocent word can cause a child to think that they are strange or different or unwanted or somehow less than. So let's learn together so we can educate others. We've all heard of siblings who at one time or another told their younger sister or brother that they were adopted just to make her feel bad about herself. And when they laugh, when they retell the story years later, I don't want my child to feel bad about himself because of the way our family was formed, and as such, I don't want other kids thinking he's somehow less than. So even talking about those stories from way back when is probably not a good idea, especially around children who were brought into their families through adoption. Innocence versus ignorance versus just plain none of your business. Many people ask questions out of curiosity, and the language they choose is purely innocent. And a lot of the words they choose are ignorant. Then there's the intrusive questions that are just none of your damn business. There are many ways you will learn to tell someone as such. You can make fun of the situation, maybe throw the question back at them, or simply let them know it's none of their business, really. So let's talk about some simple language. Here's some language that you'll want to use when speaking with someone about adoption. There's really no need to have a disclaimer when describing you as a parent. You're simply a parent. We get the question sometimes, why did his real mom give him up? Well, we already talked about the term real mom. You are his real mom too. But a woman chooses adoption not because they're giving up their child. She's making a decision to give her child a life that she cannot provide for him or her. So what's a better way to ask this question? why did your son's birth mom place him for adoption? Or why did she choose to make an adoption plan? We never want to imply that she doesn't love her child, because that's not the case. Another one is, why didn't she keep her child? Now, maybe the word stuck out to you too, but that word keep really objectifies the child. Instead, maybe they're trying to ask, why didn't she choose to parent her child? I think you'd agree this is a much better way to ask the question. Where did you get her from? Well, she's not an accessory you pick up at the store. Perhaps you mean, where is my daughter from? Is he adopted? So this is a picture of me and my son. He is not adopted. Adopted is not his definition. Just one little word can make such a big difference on how you're speaking about adoption. What you want to say instead of, yes, he's adopted, that doesn't define him. He was adopted. He was brought into my family through adoption. So maybe I think that's what they're trying to ask. Was he brought into your family through adoption? And it's up to us to educate people on the better way to ask the question. A lot of people cringe at this one. You are so amazing and giving for adopting your child. You know, imagine if that was said right in front of your child. This may imply that you did your child a favor, and it could put undue pressure on your child to feel grateful for the story of his life that he didn't get to choose. Now, I'm not saying adoption isn't a wonderful way to grow your family, because it is. But we also have to keep in mind that it starts with trauma, and your child may not see it as wonderful and amazing, or at least maybe not when they're hearing that comment. So you have to really pay attention to your responses, especially if your child is listening, because guess what? They're always listening. A better way to say this is that adoption is an amazing way to grow your family, implying that adoption is wonderful, and it is. Here's another one. Did you get to pick the child you wanted? Again, children are not a commodity. Instead, I think they're trying to ask, how does the adoption process actually work? That's a very fair question. And for God's sakes, don't whisper the word adoption. It's not a bad word. Let's talk about adoption openly and honestly and use the most appropriate language. So if somebody asks you a question and gets really uncomfortable about saying the word adoption, or doesn't quite know how to say when they came into your family, answer them out loud to show them that there are no secrets. There is nothing wrong with adoption. So let's pass this information forward and educate others as well. It's imperative, and frankly, it's our job as adoptive parents to get the language right, but also to help others get the language right in the most positive way. You want it to be a positive interaction so that they feel good about learning the right thing to say, because people really do. The world needs to be more educated about adoption. Would you agree? Well, if you thought this was helpful and you want to keep learning about adoption, I have an important event to tell you about. It's called the Adoption Summit. There are actually I heard that there's more like 75 or more adoption experts sharing their knowledge and insights. And guess what? It is absolutely free. So you can actually take your phone right now and scan this QR code. Each day, so the event is in September. Oh my goodness, I did not put the dates up there, and I can't think of them right off the bat, but the dates are in September. Scan this code, and it will give you all the information. Each day, as the videos are being released live, they will be free to you to watch. However, if you're like, oh my God, I can't take days off of work to watch these videos, don't worry. They also have an upgraded version for a small amount of money. You can have access to every single one of the videos and watch them on your own time. So join us for the largest free adoption virtual summit. There are classes such as how the adoption process works for international and domestic, how to find your biological family with DNA testing, what to look for in an adoption professional, how to navigate the home study, how to have patience in the adoption process, that's a big one, what happens when a birth parent revokes the adoption, how to protect yourself against adoption scams, and much, much, much more. In fact, yours truly has two webinars, two presentations in there. One of them happens to be a roadmap to a quicker domestic adoption. And there are the dates, September 23rd to the 27th. So if you want to keep learning about adoption, definitely register for this free adoption summit. And here again is the QR code. So I think you can pause it, go get your phone, and just scan it through the picture app. It'll take you right to where you need to be. Anyways, thanks for joining in today. I really appreciate you wanting to learn how to talk about adoption. Have a great one.